Hey, what's up, guys? It's Pep Fernandez from the Inland Sports Show. Just a quick programming note. In the next couple of weeks and months, we're really going to put a focus on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We got several thousand subscribers. We have over 1 million views. We're uploading new videos each and every week. So we're really going to point you guys, everyone who follows the Inland Sports Show, to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We will still post on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to post a lot of pictures, maybe some shorter videos, but we really want to put an emphasis on the YouTube channel. So here's what we need from you guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure you are subscribed to the Inland Sports YouTube channel and give us a big thumbs up when you watch our videos. We'd really appreciate it. If you subscribe, maybe tell your teammates, other kids at school, other coaches on your coaching staff, your parents, your grandparents. We'd really appreciate the more subscribers, the better. So subscribe and give us a like. And if you want to take it even further, there's now a thanks button at the bottom as well if you'd like to take your support to the next level and make a small donation so we can continue to bring you great sports coverage here in the Inland Empire. Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome to the Inland Sports Show at Home edition. We will be doing some shows throughout the holidays from my living room as we take a little bit of a break from Teen Vision TV 16. Our director, Johnny Nunez, trying to get some family time in during the Christmas season. Our next scheduled studio show will be on January, 4th, I want to say. Is that the first Wednesday in 2023? So we'll still be doing some shows, but it'll be coming here from my living room. So we'll be talking more high school football too, putting a bow on the season, wrapping things up still. And there's been a lot of coaching changes already in the high school coaching ranks, especially in the Big West Conference. There's going to be a bunch of new head football coaches in the Big West. We just had Coley Candell at Vista Marietta on the show last week, but we're going to have a number of new coaches in the Big West in the upper and lower division. So we'll talk more about that as we get coaches named for a lot of those teams. Outside of the Big West Conference, as part of the Raincross Conference, the Sun Belt League champions, Paloma Valley, will have a new head coach this upcoming year, and it will be Juan Merida, the longtime assistant at Paloma Valley when Bert Esposito was the head coach there. He will be back at Paloma Valley coaching the Wildcats, his first head coaching gig, and he takes over a Paloma Valley team that went 9-3 last season, 3-0 in the Sun Belt League to win a league title. They won this playoff game on the road at Palm Springs, so they made it to the D7 quarterfinals. So it was a good team, but they were senior heavy, a lot of great seniors. The quarterback is back, so that's the good news. But Coach Merida knows the expectations are to win now at Paloma Valley after such a great season last year. Can they do it again? We had a chance to talk to Coach Merida about taking over Paloma Valley, getting his first head coaching gig, and being back in a very familiar place for him. He was doing track and field as well at Paloma Valley, was coaching and teaching there too. He had always been at Paloma Valley, even when he was helping Coach Espo down at Temecula Valley. But now he's taken over at Paloma Valley as the head coach. He's very excited about it. Here's our interview with Coach Merida.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He is the new head coach of the Paloma Valley Wildcats football team, but obviously very familiar with the program. It is Juan Merida. And Coach, first off, I just want to say congratulations on the gig at Paloma Valley. I think of you as a Paloma Valley guy, so to be the head coach of the football team just makes sense to me now. But what was it, what went into the decision making of going back to Paloma and being the head coach?
Well, Pep, thanks for having me on and, on short notice and reaching out to me and all that. I appreciate it. It just made sense at this time. I've been coaching at TV for 5 years for football, but I've never stopped coaching track at Paloma. I've had those athletes come through the program, and just the timing of everything worked out with my family, first off, being ready to step into that head role. And, the new AD did a lot of work, and we went back and forth, and we agreed on a bunch of stuff, and everything just seemed to fall into place to do it at this time.
Obviously, if there's other football coaches watching this interview, they totally get it. But if a casual football fan, they might not understand that being the head coach is so time consuming. And now high school football is year round. You're always in the weight room or doing 7-on-7. Like, I just feel like there's always something. And like you said, you got to have your whole family on board, right? They have to all be like, okay, we understand this commitment that you are making as being the head football coach. But it sounds like you got the clearance from the boss, your wife, I'm sure, to do this.
Yeah, for sure. We did sit down with the entire family. I have my wife and my 3 daughters at home, have an older son away at the Navy. So we sat down on a Sunday and kind of laid it all out and what it would look like. And everybody was like, it's time for you to do this. So let's go ahead and let's all jump in. And it's a lot, all the stuff I haven't wanted to deal with in these past 25 years. I just wanted to be on field, call plays, not mess with any off-field stuff. But now it was, like I said, it was the right time. And I didn't want to get to a point in the career and look back and say, what if I would have done it? So that's why we decided to do it.
In the back of your mind, did you always think I want to be a head football coach? And especially at Paloma Valley, it's like, well, couldn't find a better fit maybe than the Wildcats.
Right. Yeah. But like I said, not at all. It was probably, the last couple years that I said, maybe I need to do this and figure out if I'm any good at it. I've been with Coach Esposito so long, and we've had tons of success. And I just started wondering, can I do this on my own? And this, like I said, everything fell into place. It was the right time. The family was ready. So that's how I came to the decision to take it. And, we have a really great AD that I'm looking forward to working with. And she convinced me that this was the right time as well.
Well, you mentioned you did a lot of winning with Coach Esposito at Paloma Valley prior and then at Temecula Valley. What are some of your coaching influences? Obviously, Coach Espo, I'm sure, is up on that list. But who are some other guys that maybe you've been around that you had a chance to maybe draw from a little bit and that'll impact the way you want to coach?
Coach Espo was definitely a huge influence. The first head coach I ever worked with, his name was Bob Owen, and it was in tiny little Fairview, Ohio, and I learned a ton from him on how to interact with student athletes and parents. And Coach Tony Franklin has been a huge influence to me, and he was the OC at Cal and at Middle Tennessee. He actually recruited Chance Nolan from Paloma when I was there, and of course Chance went on to Oregon State after that. But those guys have been the main influence for me, and I've worked with so many great assistants that I've also drawn tons of stuff from. It's just been just kind of a melting pot of ideas and how I've structured my coaching style, and I'm excited to be in the head chair to kind of share that out and coach the coaches underneath me and build a great program.
So, Coach, as we do this interview, as we get closer to Christmas, what's the first order of business as the head football coach for Paloma Valley? Do you wait till the start of the new year and then you put together a weight room regimen? What's the first thing you can start doing to maybe feel like you're doing something to get better and improve and be ready for that first game come this fall?
Yeah, the timing is kind of, was critical to get this hire done so I could at least meet with the team one time before we went on break. So we were able to do that. I brought the team in and kind of laid out my vision and my expectations. And then I told them all, have a great break, and we will get to work in January. And it's going to be a lot of work. I told them, football takes what it takes. And to be successful, it's a lot of stuff in those 8 months preparing for those 16 games that we get, the 10 guaranteed games and 6 that we have to earn. So there's going to be a lot of work that goes into that. For me now, during this break, it's just assembling a great coaching staff, a great group of men to lead those guys, and setting out the calendar from here until, that state championship game, putting everything in the calendar and just kind of working towards those and figuring out, what things we need to do and what things we don't really need to do and waste our time on, and, be as efficient as possible.
Please tell me your first guy on staff is Luis Robles, the Paloma Valley wrestling coach. He's one of my favorite guys.
Oh, that. He's my guy. Not only does he, is a heck of a wrestling coach, but he is probably the best receiver coach I've ever been around, or one of the best. So he was the, me and him were in there when we first got introduced to the team. So he is my right-hand man. He's going to be there with me.
All right, Coach Merida, I don't have the Paloma Valley roster in front of me, but I'm assuming, there is some significant seniors you're going to be losing from a team that won a league championship. They won a playoff game. You know what I mean? Like, this was a really good team. It's not like you're going into Paloma. It's like, oh, this is a rebuild. We got to build it from the ground up. Like, this is a team that had some, success last year. So, of the guys coming back and the success they had last year, are you pretty optimistic of, what your goals can be going into your first season as head coach?
Well, they are graduating 35 seniors. So it is, from what I was told, it's a bit of a rebuild. I didn't really follow them too much. I was able to watch them in that last playoff game, and they played really hard. I was impressed with how hard those kids played, how physical they were. I know there's some young talent on campus. I'm told that there's 4 returning offensive linemen, and the quarterback is coming back. So that's a good nucleus there to work with. And, I've dealt with some of the freshmen. I have them in classes, and I like what I see there as far as the talent goes. And I think we'll be okay. Schedule is in our favor. And, I don't think it'll be as much as a rebuild as people say, but there will be some growing pains, of course. And, when I was first interviewed, I said, all right, how many years do I have? Do I get 3 years, yeah. Right? Because by year 3, it should be established the way we want it to go. So, and of course, the admin was totally on my side and said I had, those years that I needed, and they knew what we were going against with the 35 graduating seniors.
Yeah, and that's important, right? Like, if you're going to become a head football coach, is admin on your side? Do they have your back? Or, do they have the same expectations that you do? And they're being realistic, going into a program. So that, I'm sure that was very important to you as well when you decided to say yes.
It was super important, but of course, the message is we're going to win, and we're going to win now. Yeah. Right? It's not, with all the process that we're going to put in, the work we're going to put in, we're going to go out and be competitive. What does winning look like? We'll see. Is it being able to move the ball and stop other people at certain times? Is it going to show up on the scoreboard? For me, it's how hard the kids are going to play. If we can lay it all on the line every week and the other team is just flat out better, we will have to roll from there. But I think we will be okay.
Coach, this just popped in my head right now, and you might not have the answer to this, but do you know if Paloma would actually move up to the Ivy League for next season, or would you still be in the Sun Belt?
I believe they're still in the Sun Belt from what I've been told. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wonder with the Rain Cross Conference, teams moving up and down and Paloma Valley doing so well, if they would actually move them up, because the Ivy League was very strange this past season. A lot of teams that we thought were going to be pretty good were down, and it's been kind of wacky in the Rain Cross Conference for the Ivy League this past year. So finally, Coach, if I was going to say what is a Coach Merida team going to look like, what are you hoping to see from your Wildcats? You want to score a lot of points? You want to play fast? Do you want to run the football, play great defense? Like, how would you describe what the team might look like come this fall for you?
I'd like to play really fast and be really physical. And as we found out in years past, it takes scoring points, but to win a championship, you have to play great defense and you have to be able to run the ball and stop the run. So, we've scored a ton of points in the past in my Paloma Valley days, and we haven't been as successful in the playoffs because we didn't play the brand of defense that we needed to at times. But I think that is going to be the main focus, and that was my focus with the team. I've been an OC all these years. I love scoring points, but make no mistake about it. To win a championship, you need a great defense.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the gig. I couldn't think of a better guy to take over the Wildcats program. So congrats on the gig. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas with your family, and then I'm sure you'll hit the ground running come January 2023.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you, and I look forward to working with you a bunch.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Juan Merida, the new head football coach for the Paloma Valley Wildcats, here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. Always good to catch up with Coach Merida, and best of luck to the Wildcats this upcoming season. That'll take us into our first commercial break of the show. When we come back, we'll talk some California Baptist basketball and the WAC in general with Kyle McDonald from WAC Hoops Digest. That's coming up next here on the Inland Sports Show at Home Edition. We are back right here at the Boost Performance Center with Coach Ray Bass, a.k.a. the Boost Man, with another gridiron question. Good one this week, Coach. As we want to know, is there a secret to training athletes that other athletic trainers, they wouldn't say anything. They want to keep their lips sealed.
Absolutely. There's no methodology, no advanced drill, no trainer who can take you to the next level if you're not willing to put in the work. You can't wait for someone else to make it happen for you, because in reality, it's all on you. You know, there's athletes that'll say, I need to train with this piece of equipment, or I need to train with these types of people. But again, in reality, it's all on you as the athlete. Now, don't get me wrong, Pep. Being a knowledgeable and skilled trainer is important, but it's less about what I do for my athletes and more about what they need to do for themselves.
All right, Coach, secrets revealed right here at Boost Performance Training. That is the Boost Man himself, Ray Bass, and you can send us a question for a future gridiron question right here at Boost by hitting the DMs all over Boost Training on social media. If you're a Dodgers fan, the team next season is probably going to look significantly different than it did this year. I mean, gone are some big names like Trey Turner, Cody Bellinger. Turner going to the Phillies on a huge deal. Bellinger's going to the Cubs. Justin Turner, he might not be back. So the Dodgers will look very different. And they made a move yesterday, and it kind of went under the radar, but it's kind of a big move because Noah Syndergaard, the pitcher known as Thor, who was incredible with the Mets, one of the best pitchers in baseball, but he's kind of fizzled out the last couple of years, man. If he could kind of return to that form, Patrick, that is a big, big pickup for the Dodgers.
I think so. You add another piece, especially pitching. I think that's worth it. I like what the Dodgers are doing. And
quick shout out, speaking of pitchers, the pride of Yucaipa High School, Taijuan Walker, he's going to the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are really loading up. They got Trey Turner from the Dodgers. Now they got Taijuan Walker, the pride of Yucaipa. 4 years, $72 million for Taijuan Walker.
All right, so they add a little something to that great team. We're talking about the two best teams in the league, it feels like.
Well, you can normally catch me on KCal 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday morning, but here in the holiday season, we're trying to lay low, take some time off. I will be back on KCal the first week of January, so you can check it out. We'll talk sports on there with my guy Patrick in the morning on KCal 96.7 FM. All right, right now we're talking some California Baptist basketball, and very excited about the men's basketball team and the women's for that matter, because they are both eligible for the NCAA tournament for the first time this season. We had a chance to catch up with Kyle McDonald from WAC Hoops Digest. This guy knows WAC basketball better than anybody. Had a chance to really dive deep on the Lancers, what they would need to do to win the WAC tournament title at the end of the year and punch their ticket to March Madness. And right now at 8-4, things are going well for CBU. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, will be their final non-conference game against Portland State. So one final tune-up for the Lancers to get really dialed in and make that push for a WAC championship. Here's Kyle McDonald from WAC Hoops Digest.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. This guy covers the WAC like nobody else. Kyle McDonald from WAC Hoops Digest. And we are getting so close, Kyle, now to the conference season for basketball. And when you look at the WAC, because for the CBU broadcast on ESPN Plus, we always do like a provider schedule, look ahead and the WAC standings. As of last night, on Sunday night, every single team in the WAC had a record of 500 or better. Like, have you seen the WAC as strong this year? Is it like stronger now than ever before? I mean, you've covered the WAC for a while now.
Obviously, this is one of the best seasons that they've had thus far. Sam Houston started that off with the win at Oklahoma on opening night. Utah Valley beat BYU in the Marriott Center. Seattle has played pretty well. Grand Canyon's been kind of hit or miss, so it's very interesting to see what the Lopes are doing. But overall, it's been a great non-conference slate. I think this seeding system that people have a lot of, and maybe we'll get to that in a minute, that people have a lot of questions about. I think it's playing out to what not Utah Valley, but what the WAC is trying to accomplish, and getting more difficult opponents, creating more opportunities for big wins. It's been a much better non-conference slate this season than it has in past seasons in a long time.
And CBU got that big win on the road at Washington, a Pac-12 school, so that's always a big deal, knocking off one of the Power Fives. Kyle, let me ask you about the preseason poll from the media and for the coaches. They had CBU coming in at number 5 on both of those polls. Agree, disagree? Do you think CBU is maybe a little bit better, or maybe they should be farther down? What was your thought on the Lancers when we got that preseason poll?
I thought it was spot on. I had them at 4 in mind because, there's the expectation with Joe Quintana coming in, Riley Batten, Tim Iguefe, Blondu Chiqueño. I said that right. I feel like I said that right.
Yes, you did.
And, this CBU, Rick Croy, they went all out in the offseason to get some depth, to add some size. And basically, because it's their first season that they're eligible for the NCAA tournament, this was the year. Like, this is supposed to be the year. And I had them at 4, so it's spot on where they had them at. I don't know that they're at the level yet where they need to be, to be at the top. But they're going to be there at the end of the season for sure.
You mentioned Coach Croy going out and getting depth. Man, he gets some big-time transfers. If you would have told me that Reed Nottage and Trey Armstrong, 2 of their top players, would not be one of their top scorers this season, I'd have said there's no way. But he brings in so many guys into the program, especially these transfers who know how to score. Like, this is probably the deepest team they've had, at least since I've been around the CBU program. Is that safe to say as well?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think they realized they had to have some depth. They had to have guys that could come in, knock down shots off the bench, especially to give guys like Taron Armstrong a spell so that he could, close out games strong. Joe Quintana, as a 3-point shooter, you got to have legs in the second half, and that's key for them. Hunter Goodrick has been really good too. It's just been dynamite off the bench for Rick Croy. He's been starting a little bit lately, so. Reed Nottage, I was at that San Diego game, and I was telling Doc Wellman and Rick Croy after the game, when Reed Nottage is square to the basket, he's going to knock down everything. And that was a confidence game for him. There's a lot of depth there. You still got Trey Armstrong, who led the team in scoring last, on Sunday night in their win over Sonoma State. And Taron Armstrong didn't have a point. We were talking about that before we were recording. So there's a lot of depth here that you like. It's just a matter of they got to find that rhythm, and that San Diego game might have been that start because they played a big second half and hit shots. Then they get Portland State to finish off the non-conference play. It's a it's a deep team. There's confidence there. They've won some good ball games. Like you said, the Washington win, they were close against Minnesota. Should have won, beat both Minnesota and Southern Illinois. Just couldn't hit free throws, Pep. I mean, they're free. And CBU couldn't hit them in both those overtime losses. So there's a lot to like about this Lancer squad. It's just a matter of putting a full 40 minutes together. And when they do that, they're as dangerous as anybody in the league.
Yeah, you mentioned Portland State. That's the last non-conference game before we get into conference action. And for CBU, they're going to play on the road. They get at GCU to open things up, which is always a big game. It's a rivalry game for them. And then they go on the road to Seattle. And I know the WAC, because of, geographical travel reasons, there's no short trip, especially for CBU. Like, you're just kind of all over the place. But that's a tough road trip for I felt like for the Lancers to open up the season, especially against GCU, that first game out, playing at their place.
Yeah, I'm excited about opening weekend of WAC play. I think it's going to be fantastic with some of the matchups that are there. You talk about CBU going to GCU and to Seattle. I mean, those are two of the top teams in the league. Those are two teams you have to beat to win this league. And you're going to have to do it on the road, which, again, with this new seeding system, road wins are massive. And those both of them could be quad 2 wins for the Lancers if they're able to pull off those wins. And remember, Seattle won a share of the regular season title last year. GCU won the regular season and tournament titles 2 years ago. So, I mean, it's a huge weekend for the Lancers to open up WAC play. And like I said, there's some matchups that I can't believe they put all these matchups to start league play, because it's like students aren't going to be on some of these campuses. So that's a benefit that CBU has. Yes. Is the Havocs won't be there at GCU Arena when they go up to play. So, but it's a tough road trip. And, CBU plays well against GCU. They play well against Seattle. They've had some battles. You called the one last year in Riverside, when CBU hosted Seattle in that overtime game with a wild ending. Yeah. Darren Trammell throwing up the shot, even though he traveled. We'll call a spade a spade. But it's a fun way to open WAC play and set, after a special non-conference slate for all the teams in the WAC.
So, Kyle, you mentioned it. CBU is eligible for the Big Dance, the NCAA tournament this season. First year that has happened. Is there a scenario, not just for CBU, but the WAC in general, that more than the conference champion with that automatic spot to the NCAA tournament? Do you think there's a scenario where the conference is getting more and more respect? They're knocking off Power 5 schools. Is there a scenario where a second WAC school might sneak into the Big Dance at the end of the year?
I want to say there's a slight chance. There's a lot that kind of has to happen in order for that to be accomplished. You need a team like Sam Houston or a New Mexico State to maybe run the table in WAC play, maybe have one loss, but not a bad loss, like a loss to, let's say when Sam Houston and New Mexico State play on that first Saturday of WAC play, if Sam Houston beats the Aggies in Las Cruces, right, and then Sam Houston loses to maybe SFA to end the regular season or something, that's not bad. That's a good thing. And then Sam Houston gets to the WAC tournament championship against, say, a CBU or someone else. There's a slim chance, because of where Sam Houston is in the net right now. They're at 22, I believe, as of Monday, which is crazy high for a WAC school to begin with. But they've earned it. Like, they beat Utah, they beat Oklahoma on the road. Both of those are quad 1 wins. And they've blown out every other team that's not a Power 5 school on their schedule. So outside of Nevada. And so it's just there's a lot that's got to happen. Is it possible? Like I said, there's a slight chance, but honestly, as deep as this league is, I think we're going to cannibalize ourselves, to say the least, because I don't think the regular season champ, which isn't determined by the net or the resume seeding system, it's just outcomes of WAC games, that champion is going to have 3 to 4 losses in league play. Like, I'm confident saying that because of how good and how deep the league is this year. And teams have gotten better over the past month or so. So there's so much parity in this league. There's no superstars name-wise that we had last year, with a Teddy Allen or Fardaws Aimaq, a Darian Trammell, Holland Woods from GCU, Savion Flagg from Sam Houston. Like, we don't have those kind of guys, but we have a bunch of really, really good basketball players that are on a bunch of deep teams. And so I slight chance if it works out, but I don't know that I see it working out this year just because of how difficult it's going to be to win in the league.
Well, we can all dream. We can all keep that glimmer of hope that maybe that is a possibility at the end of the season, end of the conference tournament. Kyle, let's wrap it up like this. So, obviously, we've been talking CBU, and they've got a lot of depth. They got some guys that can really score. They got one more non-conference game. That's Portland State on Thursday night. What do you think CBU has to do well throughout conference play to give themselves a shot? Maybe the regular season title obviously doesn't mean as much as winning the conference tournament to punch your ticket to March Madness. But what do you think the Lancers have to do well and figure out in conference play to give themselves a shot?
Consistency. I was on the radio call with Braden Bell at San Diego last Saturday, and that was what we talked about. Like, they looked good for 25 minutes or so from about the 5-6 minute mark in the first half throughout the second half. So they looked really good then. The first 15 minutes, like, it was not good offensively. Defensively, they struggled to get stops. Like, that's what we've seen from the Lancers all throughout non-conference play. We haven't seen them really put together outside of that Washington game. And even then, they fell behind early. Mm-hmm. And against Minnesota, they were down 15-0 early on. Like, we got to see consistency. Like, don't get down early. Don't have to grind your way back, because that's going to wear you down, especially when you're playing Thursday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Saturday, and you have travel in between. Consistency. Offensively, defensively, they're really good. They're fine there because they are able to stay in ball games because they can defend. That's been very impressive, and that's what helped them at San Diego in that road win. Was that defensively they got turnovers, they got stops, they did the things that they needed to do to win. But if they can find that offense, that CBU offense that I think you and I are both used to, the 75, 80 point per game nights, they can beat anybody. And that's the thing. Just find that rhythm offensively. That's what they need to do in their final non-conference game. Get that rhythm going, carry it over from that San Diego win, the Sonoma State win, which even then, it was still weird that Terrence Armstrong had 0 points. But find that consistency, and they'll be just fine because they can defend. And that's when you can defend, all you got to do is knock down shots, and you're going to be in every ball game, or you're going to win ball games more often than not.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Kyle, because even with Division II Sonoma State, the Lancers would go on like on a 19-3 run, and then Sonoma State would turn around and go on a 13-0 run. And Jalen Wells, I don't know why he's at Sonoma State. The guy can score the basketball. He should probably be Division I somewhere. But it wasn't so much CBU was letting them get back in the game. It's just CBU went cold. They, Sonoma State would get a bucket. We'd come back down. CBU would come up empty. And it was like, before you knew it, was like, oh, man, Sonoma State scored 13 in a row, and CBU hasn't scored any. So it was kind of weird. It was kind of very up and down. So I think consistency, I think you nailed it. How do you prevent those big runs from the other team just because you've gone cold on the offensive end?
Yeah, sometimes it's complacency. You get on that big run and you think you're going to cruise, and then you kind of get in your offense stalls a little bit. The ball gets stuck in hands, and there's a lot of one-on-one or things like that. And you got to just keep running your offense, keep executing, and keep attacking. Like, don't sit back and just kind of, we're going to eat up. No, just attack. You can attack while eating up clock. It's one of those things where teams, it's like the NFL. You go into this stall mode or this slow down mode, and you lose all your momentum. It's like, just stay on attack mode while executing your offense and getting in those situations, getting to the free throw line, getting a foul called or something, so that you can stay. What's the word that they say in football? Stay in the positive, I guess. Or what's on time with regards to a drive or something like that. Yeah. And that's what they need to do, is just be consistent. Have that guy that's going to step up and either get fouled or knock down a shot, instead of the ball getting stuck or, there not being a lot of movement on offense. CBU's done that a lot, and that's something that they have to be very, very careful of going into WAC play, because there's a lot of good teams that can defend in this league. So, yeah, just that consistency, let go of that complacency, and keep executing at a high level.
Well, if there's one guy that can figure it out, that'd be Rick Croy, the ultimate motivator. Such a great coach for the Lancers. Kyle, listen, I really appreciate the time, brother. Hopefully you can make time at some point during the conference season. I know a lot of teams to cover, and you're all over the place, but we'd love to see you back in Riverside very, very soon. Appreciate
the time, Pep. And I might not be able to make it to Riverside this year. I got going to go see some of the Texas arenas and some of the doubleheaders that schools have out there. It's kind of cool that the WAC is doing doubleheaders this year during league play. So that's going to be fun to watch. I know some coaches aren't necessarily in favor of it, but if I can, I will. But either way, it's going to be a fun league and a fun, January and February into March. And it's just an exciting time with college basketball. Yeah, we're going to have some real battles. As soon as the month of January hits, we got some real battles right out of the gate. Kyle McDonald from WAC Hoops Digest here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
And a big thanks to Kyle McDonald from WAC Hoops Digest for that great interview talking a lot of Lancer basketball. And again, the final non-conference game for California Baptist men will be tomorrow night, Thursday night against Portland State. I hope you'll join me on ESPN Plus. Tip-off at 7 p.m. Should be a great game before they get to WAC play. All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break here on the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up, talk a little high school basketball and high school football, and maybe a little bit of soccer as well when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down and see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
What up, y'all? It's Boost Man here. We're back at the Boost Performance Center with my guy, Pep Fernandez, and we got an oldie but for you guys today. We're going back to the A-Run. We're going to show you guys what that's all about. If you guys remember, we did this a couple years ago. I want to touch up on that a little bit, show you guys some progression, show you guys the way we're coaching it today because it's forever evolving. We're always trying to find ways to get better. Come see what it's all about. All right, I'm with my man Noah over here. He's going to demonstrate the A-Run for us. So what he's going to do, he's going to start right here at the line. We're going to jog 3 yards. He's going to hit an A-Run, keep it really short for about 10 yards. Now, the great thing about this drill is that we can take it 20, 40, 60 yards. We can really push the threshold because we're really focusing on turnover. Now, last time I did this drill, one of the things I didn't like about the video that I'm going to correct right now is his posture. So we want to make sure that Noah is projecting his hips forward. That way we have proper force production through those legs and through the feet. So Noah's going to jog 3. He's going to give me a lot of turnover, working on residual recovery and transitions phase of sprinting. And he's going to give me an A-Run 10 yards. Here we go. Now, really quick, one more thing. Once he gets to the cone, we want that linear speed to be about 50%, but we want his turnover to be 100. Here we go, Noah, ready? And hit it. And A-Run, stay tall, stay tall, stay tall, stay tall, stay tall, stay tall, stay tall. Very nice, very nice. Good job, good job. All right, so one of the progressions that we'll do off the A-Run drills, we'll add a little bit of resistance to it. So you can do this with a sled, you can do it with a band, but for the most part, this is gonna be a heavy resisted band here. We're still emphasizing the same mechanics. Noah's gonna project his hips forward. J-Bear's gonna provide some resistance here. He's his head down, and we're focused on turnover here. So he's gonna jog to the cone. He's gonna A-Run about 10 yards with that resistance. Here we go. And go. And stay tall, stay tall. Get over, get over, get over. Let me turn over, turn over, turn over. Arms, 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 arms. Very nice, very nice. So there you guys have it, the A-Run drill. We're bringing it back for you guys. We cleaned it up a little bit. I love this drill. You can do it with some resistance. You can do it with some assistance. You can do it with just body weight. What I love the most about it is that you can travel large distances and it's not as aggressive as other training. So if you're not doing it, you better get to it. Boost man.
4-3 Arroyo Valley. Kaiha ready to go. The shot, she's stopped by Jaimes. Jaimes with a great save for Arroyo Valley. So that means if the Hawks convert on this next penalty kick, this is over. For real. The shot, and that one is good for Arroyo Valley. That makes it 5-3, and that should be it. Congratulations to Arroyo Valley as they celebrate here at Indian Springs as they win in the shootout by a score of 5-3. Look at them jumping around. They are your back-to-back Lady Coyotes Classic champions. Congratulations to them. Again, 5-3, the final score in the shootout. And congratulations to Arroyo Valley Girls Soccer on back-to-back Lady Coyote Classic soccer titles. In fact, they went to overtime, or actually they passed overtime, went straight to the shootout in that tournament championship game that you just saw. You can watch the entire thing on IEMG as Arroyo Valley and Indian Springs 0-0 through regulation. Arroyo Valley 5-3 on penalty kicks to win the tournament title. Now, our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game this week was actually the championship round today of the Winter Classic at Silver Lakes and Roosevelt High School. In fact, the championship match is taking place at the stadium at Roosevelt High School. So that was our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game because some of the top soccer programs, boys and girls from around the IE, were at that tournament at Silver Lakes and Roosevelt High School. So it was a very big deal. But tonight, we're going to double up. How about a Ken Sporting Goods must-see game on the hardwood? Because, hey, it is the holiday season, and we want to make sure we're in the spirit of giving. So we're giving you guys two Ken Sporting Goods must-see games. This one's going on tonight. If you're watching us live, it's a big one, Yucaipa and Indian Springs. You know, for Yucaipa, on Tuesday night, last night, they actually lost to Arrowhead Christian by 3. That was a big win for the Eagles on the road at Yucaipa. Now Yucktown turning around and taking on Indian Springs. Yucaipa in the Citrus Belt League, they should make a run at the league title. They'll be in the mix, and certainly Indian Springs will be in the mix for the Mountain Valley League title. So that's a big game, big non-league game for those two schools that both figure to be in their respective race for league titles. Again, Indian Springs in the Mountain Valley, Yucaipa in the Citrus Belt. And finally here, congratulations to all the athletes signing today, the early signing period here on December 21st, the longest day of the year. Make sure if you sign today, if you've got a picture or you've got video, to make sure you are tagging Inland Sports. We'd love to share it and celebrate with you. We know it's a very big deal, so congratulations to all those on signing day. And again, make sure you let us know as well so we can share and let our audience know as well. All right, next week we'll also be at home again. We will not be back in the Teen Vision TV 16 studio until the first week of January. We're all trying to lay low a little bit and get some relaxing time with the family. But we'll have an abbreviated show next week, and then we'll hit the ground running again in the first week of January as we really get back to high school basketball, soccer, and it'll also be the first week of conference play for CBU men's basketball and women's basketball in the Western Athletic Conference. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. God bless you guys. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we will see you next time on the Inland Sports Show.